Hello everyone. I'm going to recap the Estée Lauder Beauty Blockbuster today. I've had a lot of interest in this on the video, so I'm just here kind of to walk through what's in the box again. I'm going to refresh some of my makeup while we are going through it all, and I'm here to answer any questions you have. I'll show you live swatches of what's in the box. And yeah, I'm just going to kind of go through the items that we got in here, and I'm actually going to refresh my makeup. I did my makeup about 3 or 4 hours ago now, so it's due a little bit of a refresh. So we will redo it with some of the makeup in the box. And like I said, if you've got any questions or you want to see particular items, or you've got any sort of general midlife chat you want to just throw into the mix, then feel free. Oh, I got no room for this on here. Hang on. Bear with me while I organise myself. Right, so here we have, I'm going to recap on what came in this case. So we've got this really nice vanity case. This whole thing would make a really nice Christmas gift for anyone this year. It's got 2 sides to it. On the back side here, it's just a kind of like a bag, and that's where the makeup items were stored when I received it. In order to get this, so this was £90, and in order to get this at the £90 price, you had to buy items to the value of £50 from the Estée Lauder website. And so the ones that I bought were the Estée Lauder Double Wear Foundation. That is like a super popular and well-loved foundation. I got that in 3W1. Excuse me a moment. Oh, excuse me. And the other item I got was this double-ended eye pencil, which I thought was pretty useful value, because you had obviously 2 different eyeliners to play with here, and there was a dark one and a light one, which is kind of novel and interesting. So they're the items that I bought in order to get this case. And then within the case, we got the eyeshadow palette here, which I will just share with you, and perhaps we'll do some swatches. So this is the eyeshadow palette that comes in the Blockbuster. Let me try and find a spot on my arm to do some swatching. I'll do these three. I mean, essentially you've got these two here are kind of like almost like highlighter shades. You've got these matte shades in the middle, which are kind of like your staple eyeshadows. And then this is more of a shimmer, and this is quite a dark brown. I think it's showing up a little bit lighter on camera than it is in real life. So let me just try and swatch some of these on here. So they are like the two highlighter shades, and that's one of the matte eyeshadows. And then let me just clean my fingertips off. I did 3, didn't I? So I've got 4 more to swatch. And then those are the others. So those are the 2 matte shades. That is the shimmer, and that is the deeper brown, which is good for definition or lining your eyes. I'm going to use a couple of those again in a minute to refresh my makeup look. And let's see, what else did we have here? So some of the other makeup items that came in the set are this Estée Lauder blush, which is really, really nice and easy to use. I'm going to use that again in just a moment, and that's how that swatches. Really, really nice wearable colour there. And then we have the Sumptuous Extreme mascara. Now, some of the comments on the actual video that I made about this were complaining that Estée Lauder had put this same mascara in the box for a number of years. I haven't actually had the Blockbuster before, so I can't comment to that, but it'd be interesting to know what you all think about that. Are you kind of done with getting the same mascara? I actually thought this was a really nice one, because this wand is very long, and you can actually swipe your your whole lash in one thing, rather than kind of having to go bit round here and there. You can actually swipe the whole thing in one go, and I thought that was actually pretty good feature of this mascara. Like I say, I'm going to try and use that again in a moment when we do a bit of a makeup refresh. And then what else do we have in here? So that was one side of the kit, and then here on the other side of the kit we have got some 2 lipsticks, a lip gloss, and then all of the skincare products. Some of these are kind of full size, and some of them are minis. So this eye cream here, that is actually that's like a full size one. That's quite generous. Certainly with it being an eye cream as well, that lasts quite a long time, that one. You've got the serum here it's kind of a mini. It's not as large as the ones that I have bought previously, but it's still pretty decent size actually. So it's sort of like nearly a mini, but there's still a good amount in there. I would say that the face cream though, this is like a mini size. So that's actually quite small compared to the main tub. If you kind of go and buy one of their other triple value sets where you get these 3 items in one, this is much larger. You usually get a much larger face cream. But it's okay if you haven't used it before, or you just want a top up. It's not bad. I'm going to use that again in a moment, just to sort of refresh myself before I apply the makeup again. This Night's face wash, I've never used this actually, but I've had a few comments on the video saying that this is really, really nice, like a kind of a chemical soup for washing your face in at night. So people are saying nice things about that one. So I'm looking forward to using that soon. And actually this is a hand cream. I haven't used this one yet as well. My hands are feeling a bit dry actually, so I might put some of this on just now before we start with the makeup. So yeah, we'll have a go on that. And then we've got the 2 lipsticks and lip gloss. I only used one of the lipsticks when I did the video, and I used the slightly brighter one. And what I found was when I came back and used the muted one, it was much There was some difference. So there were some comments that there wasn't any difference between the lip shades. But actually, when I used them, I found that the muted one was much more neutral for everyday wear, and then the other one was a bit brighter, some more kind of special occasion, or if you just like to wear a brighter lipstick. I'm going to show you both of those on my lips actually in a few moments, so you can kind of figure out for yourself if you think there's much of a difference. And then in the video, I topped it off with the gloss, which I have recently discovered is kind of a fancy way of amping up your lip look, is to go over your lipstick with a gloss. And we'll do that again in a moment. So that's kind of a quick another rundown of the kit. If there are any questions about any specific items, please drop it in the comments. Otherwise, I'm going to start to refresh my makeup. Like I said, I applied this some hours ago now, and my camera's going over there for some reason. And it's kind of ready for a bit of a top up. So I'm just gonna put some moisturizer around my lips actually, because where I've wiped my mouth after eating, it's kind of, I'm getting a bit dry around there. So before I go in with the foundation again, I'm going to put some moisturizer on. And these smell really lovely. They're really great on mature skin actually, these Estee Lauder skincare products. They feel really thick and heavy, but they don't, but also I can use it and not feel like my skin's like turned into a big grease bowl, which is really nice, because some heavier skincare products can then turn you a bit greasy, can't they? So yeah, I've just refreshed that there, and that's all looking fine. So let's top up my foundation a little bit. I think it's sort of prone to coming off around the bottom half of my face, where if you wipe your nose or wipe your mouth or anything, it starts to come off again. The forehead seems to stay pretty well intact for most of the day. But this is my preferred method for foundation, is to use one of these damp beauty blenders. I could have done with making this a bit damper again, actually it's dried out from earlier, but I'm just going to kind of top up. I'm probably going to lose the blush that I've got when I go over it with the foundation, but I'm just going to top this up so you can see how it kind of performs when you're topping it up again halfway through the day, if you feel you need to do that. So this is a shade 3W1, which is tawny, and I would say it's a sort of a light medium, neutrally warm shade, I would say. And that is the only base I put on this morning, so I don't have any concealer or anything additional on here. I say in most of my face it's still fully intact from first thing. I just wanted to kind of refresh it a little bit around this area here, which kind of seems to me to come off during the day from eating and drinking and wiping your nose and all the things that you need to do. So I'm going to refresh my eyeshadow a little bit. I think I just used one of these shades this morning. This is kind of like my go-to kind of base shade. I might go in with some of this to make it a little bit darker than I did this morning, just so that you can see those in action. So let's like go back in with that kind of nude neutral shade. Like I say, that is what I've got on my eyes currently. So they are looking quite kind of neutral, maybe with a little hint of pink in there, I would say. And you'll see as I apply it, that's the colour that is kind of being laid down further over the top. I think that's a really nice base eyeshadow, and to be honest, I just kind of I'm happy to spend the day with just this one colour all over my eyes, actually. Be interested to know what people think about that. Are you kind of a one and done, or do you prefer to layer up layer up kind of more interesting looks. So which one should I go in with? I'm Rather than going darker, I think I'm going to go with the highlight shade on the end and just see if it gives us a little bit more of a shimmery look rather than this matte effect we have at the moment. It's not doing an awful lot at the moment, is it? I think, like I said, it's more of a highlighter shade, so it's not very pigmented. I could maybe go over. It's not done very much, has it? I think these are all very subtle, these shades. There's just a little bit of shimmer there, isn't there? Not a huge amount. So I just got a question actually, so from Julie. Thank you, Julie, for leaving me a question. You've asked, what is the colour of the double-ended eye stick? Where is it now? I spent a little time actually deciding what colour to have, and I kind of thought this was going to be black and kind of beige, but actually it's Bordeaux. It says Bordeaux and ivory, so 02 Bordeaux and 02 ivory. I don't know if you can see that here. That's the Bordeaux, and it's kind of like a browny purple, I guess like a red wine colour, and that is ivory, and that's kind of like a beigey sort of peachy colour. I will show you those actually. I kind of like using these to tightline, so I just kind of stick it up here um, under my eye. So look away if you're squeamish. I know I know some people are a bit squeamish about seeing people poking around their eyes. But that's a really nice alternative if you, like me, don't look so great um, in black, or it may be brown isn't your thing, then I think that's a really nice alternative, this sort of red wine colour. And let me just show you this in action. I've got quite a large sort of inner, I don't know what we call this, and this sort of bit here that you put your eyeliner on. Mine is quite large, and so I find that concealing it sometimes with black just sort of looks a bit strange. And I'm thinking this might be an alternative solution. So rather than disguising it, I'm actually kind of enhancing the fact that I've got these big white lower lids here. I don't think it's not excessively obvious, is it, that I've got this on? I'm just hoping it gives a sort of a brightening effect. I don't know if it's working or not, but it's nice to try new things anyway. Yeah, I think they're really nice colours. I'm pleased that someone else is liking that as well. So let me go back to the eyeshadow. So I was kind of adding this pink highlight one over the top, but to be honest, it actually hasn't done very much. I'll just show you what. So the other shimmer is this kind of orangey pinky one here. I'll just demonstrate that a little bit. I'm not sure if it's for me because it's a little bit warm, but just so you can see that it is a shimmer, I will tap a little bit on here. And I don't know about you, shimmers sort of seem to go on better with your finger sometimes, don't they? So I don't know if you can see that. It's just giving me a sort of a slightly really golden shimmer over the top there. Maybe makes it a little bit more interesting than the flat pink that it was before. Yeah, I mean, that's okay, isn't it? It's not too bad. And then just to demonstrate this mascara, like I say, some people have complained about this, saying that they've seen this one time and time again. This is Sumptuous Extreme, and I guess it's in black. Yeah, it says 01 Extreme Black. And actually what I really like about this is how long it is. Like, look how long this wand is. You'll see when I put it up against my lashes, it actually is the whole length of my lashes. So I did put this on this morning, so it might clump up now if I reapply it. But look how good that is in terms of being like the full length of my lash. And bonus, I used a different mascara yesterday and I was touching my eyelid with it. So I'm sort of trying different techniques now to try not to smudge the mascara back on my actual eyelid and ruin my eye makeup. It'd be interesting to know if that's happening to anyone else or if it's just specific mascara that I was using. It was actually the RMS Beauty mascara, and I don't know why. I don't know if maybe the brushes on the lash thing were too long or something, because they were seemingly poking back through my lashes and touching me on the eyelid and made an almighty mess actually. So um, I'm really pleased to see that this one isn't doing that at all. I think with the shorter brushes, it doesn't do that. It doesn't pass back and through onto your eyelid. But look, if you are a fan of clumpy mascara, it looks like you can do that look with this. Like I said, I put this on this morning, so this is like a second or third coat. But look how nicely it's layering up. I don't know if you can see. It's layering on really, really thickly and quite nicely. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate the blush because I think this blush is actually really, really good. I'm sorry, my camera is moving around and bringing in the mess from the back of my room into shot. So please forgive me for that. Right, this I think is really nice. So I swatched this on my hand earlier so you can see the sort of colour it is. And I am just going to go and draw it straight on here. And this is what I did this morning, which is just like create some sort of like understanding of where my cheeks are and just blob it on. And actually this blended out really easily. I've actually probably gone a bit heavier now than I did this morning because I want you to be able to see it on screen. But look how nicely this just kind of, even with just your fingers, I mean, you can do it with a brush, but actually, oops, I've got mascara on my face. I think this blends out pretty well. With your fingers. So I'm probably looking a bit pink because when I put my blush on, it's like all the blood comes to the surface and I look double pink. But as it settles down, you'll see that that's actually not too much at all. So what do we think? I actually think that's really, really nice blush actually. That, like, I've reached for that quite a few times since I bought it. And that's like, I think definitely one of my favourite blushes I've ever had. It's in the shade Dusty Rose. So I don't know if you can see that there. Oh, bit difficult to focus, but that is Dusty Rose, and I don't know if this is a special. It just says, sorry, I can't read it very well with my with my eyes. It says limited edition, multi-use blush stick. Yeah, that's it, in Dusty Rose. And I don't know if they do this particular type of blush stick in other colours, but it's really nice. And actually, I'm tempted to go and have a look at it and see if they do other colours because I think it's really nice. I'm increasingly going off of powder blushes and onto cream blushes. I think they do look really good. They blend really well. And I don't know if they have the same longevity, but actually what I'm going to do when I've finished is use this Charlotte Tilbury setting spray, which I'm finding is making quite a big difference to me. So I struggle to keep my makeup on. I obviously like eat and drink and touch my face and brush and blow my nose and everything. And I've used this a few times now, and this actually, I found when I went to wash my makeup off in the evening, a lot of it was still there and kind of looking okay. And I thought, actually, this is doing a pretty good job, this Charlotte Tilbury spray. I'm on the lookout for setting sprays to try a bunch of different ones and see which ones are good. So if you've got any setting spray recommendations, please kind of let me know. I'd be really, really keen to hear. But right, let's move on to the, unless anyone's got any other requests, I'm going to move on to the lipsticks actually. So we've got 2 lipsticks and a lip gloss, and I think I can layer them up and demonstrate them all. Everything is falling out of the case right now. All these things are just falling out. So, but let's take out the 2 lipsticks again and the lip gloss, and I will demo all of those. So these are, so look at the cool packaging. I actually really think this is lovely. These gold with kind of red and polka dots. I think this is really nice packaging. So these are rosy ribbon and velvet ribbon. I was asked if there was any difference in the kind of like texture or finish of them, and I don't think there is. I think they're both the same, like a cream lipstick. Now I want to try and find the muted one. First. Okay, yeah, so let me just show you them in the sticks side by side. So this one, this is rosy ribbon. I think this is the more muted of the 2, and this is velvet ribbon, which is the brighter one. So if I hold them side by side, you can see that although they are very similar, they're kind of like both muted pinks, I would say. This one is definitely more nude, sort of more lighter muted, what do we call it, and more natural. And this one is brighter. So I'm going to go in with this one first so you can see the difference on. You can probably see once I get them on, you'll see there is quite some difference, because look, this one is looking very natural. That is just really, really nice everyday wearable one, I think. Okay, so that's the first one. That is rosy ribbon. And then we've got the one that I demoed in the main video, and this is velvet ribbon. Now, let me, have I got any tissue? I have some tissue here somewhere. Oh, I am going to just blot this so that it's not too thick for when I put the next one on. Okay, and let's go in with a brighter one now. Make sure I've got the right one. And you can see there, if I demonstrate half first of all, this is quite a bit deeper than the other one. I think they're both really nice, and they probably both suit the same sort of skin tone, but this is definitely brighter and deeper than the other one. So there we go. That is the velvet ribbon one. So maybe more of a going out shade, or for people that like brighter or suit brighter colours. I think for me, I would wear the other one, the first one, the more muted one, as a daily thing, and then this maybe is more of a going out sort of shade. I am going to blot it again, and then I'm going to go over the top with the gloss. Okay, and this is the gloss that came in the Blockbuster. This is called limited edition lip gloss called Unwrapped. And that looks pretty sheer, kind of a muted pink again, much more sheer than the lipsticks. But let's go over the top to kind of glam up the lip look. I learned this trick from from someone else's video. They said to glam up your lipstick top it off with a gloss. And that completely changes the look of your finished lips, makes them look much more kind of ready for a night out. Let me just swatch. I was going to swatch that one, but actually let me swatch them all. I'm going to swatch them all on my hands so you can see the differences. So that was the blush. That is Rosy Ribbon. That one is Velvet Ribbon. Not focusing very well, is it? And the gloss then is here, and let's just swatch that there. And that is the gloss in the shade Unwrapped, and that is this one here. So I mean, if these are your colours, and they are my colours, I would say, these kind of muted natural nude pinks, then this is a really great set actually, because it gives you kind of the full the full thing. You've got the muted sort of pinks and nudes, a little bit of oranges, eyeshadow palette. You have got your black mascara. You have got these 3 lip products. And what else have we got? We got this really nice blush. And yeah, so if you've got a kind of complexion that suits this muted pinky brown or nudie pink shades, then I think this is a really good one. I'm gonna spray the setting spray, and then I'm gonna wrap up the live. Thank you for joining me. If you were here, this is the first time I have gone live, so it has been a bit of a milestone for me. So thank you for being here, and certainly if you've asked questions, Julie, thank you very much, Julie, for participating and asking your question. And yeah, I'm going to spray the setting spray, but here's your last chance. If you've got any questions about the Estée Lauder set, or you want to just generally chit chat a bit, then please do so. Put something in the comments. If you want me to shout out your name, I will be absolutely delighted to do that and say hello and thank you. But let me just sort of spray up the finishing spray, and then we will wrap things up in just a few moments. And then hopefully this will keep my makeup in place for the rest of the day. I didn't set it this morning, and I think that was my mistake, was that it started to sort of wear off a little bit because I hadn't actually set it. So hopefully this will now keep it on for the rest of the day. So thank you for joining me, and I hopefully will see you again soon. And please drop a note, say hi in the comments. I'll be happy to hear from you. Bye for now.